Can you take care of yourself? Is the debt worth it? Like, what is your self-care? What is your personal development?
Do you want to live in another country? Do you want to have certain experiences?
Because again, money is a big factor. For dating while we're in grad school, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena Bradshaw, where I'm all about using your influence for good. Using your influence for good is just helping people become the best versions of themselves through finding themselves. So before you do anything, stop what you're doing right now. Like this video and then hit that subscribe button so you can get more videos, okay? So today's video is a SB to PhD video. So today I decided to do a video that's more personal, meaning like dating as a doctoral student. You know, everybody likes that. Or dating as a graduate or doctoral student. How to make new friends in a new city. How to find your purpose and self-care and activities outside of your graduate program. Just things that people don't realize that are about you in your doctoral program or your graduate program besides the schoolwork, because all that stuff is very important too, but at the end of the day, you're still a person, you're more than a student, and you know, you have questions like, how do you balance going out? How do you balance dating? How do you even make friends? How do you balance self-care? So if you guys want to know that, this video is for you. And I have a very special guest, my friend, simply put, By Tam. We went to Florida State together, and she is getting her master's program in London. I'm gonna put the university, I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but she is also going to be talking about it. She's gonna introduce herself, and then you guys can head over to her channel and we go have videos too. So hey guys, so this is Tam. You're gonna see her on the screen soon, but okay, I'm just gonna allow her to introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Tam. I'm from Simply Put by Tam, and I have a channel that's all based around relationships, dating advice, living in London, and anything that you can think of in that topic. And I am here today with Serena to give you guys the tea.
Yeah. So tell them about, you know, you being in grad school, your major, how we met in undergrad. Well, we didn't meet, but kind of all that.
So I go to the University of Greenwich in London. I'm doing my master's in strategic marketing, and I did my bachelor's in English at Florida State University, where I also met Serena in passing, and like just reconnecting afterwards, because we both have YouTube channels, we're both in grad school, both Black women kind of just like navigating that whole experience. And I just thought like we both have really interesting perspectives to lend each other, especially on different parts of the globe.
Yeah, so definitely. Grad school is a lot, regardless if you're in a master's program, a doctoral program, or even just doing continuing education. But beyond, like I said before, beyond like the education stuff, you know, we're still people. And Tam and I have really deep conversations lately, and we were like, okay, we want to share and help others. Okay guys, so the first topic, again, I might be looking a little down because she's on my computer and now she's also on the screen, but we're going to talk about moving away very far, going to graduate school and like your experiences. So I'm going to kind of let Tam go first because she is the guest.
So for me, this was definitely a leap of faith. I have family here, but like not family that I know like that. You know, I kind of had to sit and make a plan, like a very serious one, like, all right, do I want to take on this sort of debt? Do I want to be away from my family in the event of emergency, like my close family? Like, will I handle really being alone? There's a pandemic. Can I fully take care of myself? Like, I've been growing up and maturing, but like this is definitely something that kicked me into adulthood in like the most violent, but like kind of like refreshing way. I feel like I've grown a lot through having to do something like that and making such a huge decision at this age. And I feel like it's kind of setting me up for better things in the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah, like I think that when you're an adult and you kind of like play it safe, like all the time, maybe you don't, I don't know, like I just feel like pressure makes diamonds, and I just feel like I definitely put myself in a position where it's like, all right, you need to make a change, you need to make a decision. What do you want from life? Mm-hmm. Do you want another degree? Do you want to live in another country? Do you want to have certain experiences, or do you like want to stay at home and like work and wait until you get a job in whatever field? Mm-hmm. Like I felt like I was waiting around for something to happen versus me going out there and making something happen, and that's definitely what I did when I decided to come to London, which is I'm really proud of myself for it, regardless of what anything else.
I agree. That was a really good point. She said that like you have to make it happen for yourself, and I 100% agree, because if you don't make it happen for yourself, like, you know, it's your life. For me, my decision to move far away, I personally did not care. I'm a person that like anytime I want like a new start, I always move away. It's actually kind of sick. It's my it can kind of turn toxic, actually. So let's not move away next time. But I really enjoyed moving to the DMV. It's about 18 hours away from Miami, 13 hours away from Tallahassee. And for me, like she said, like you have to think of the pros and cons. Can you take care of yourself? Is the debt worth it? Because you are going to get into some debt, maybe, possibly, especially with the graduate degree. And, you know, is this worth it for you for your next level of self-growth and development? Because at the end of the day, no matter what anybody tells you, it's kind of about what you want to do with your life and where you want to go. I studied abroad in London when I was going to my junior year, so I feel like I lived away also for 2 months, which isn't the same as like her a year and 2 years, especially with the different currencies. But I feel like when you're alone, you kind of get to know yourself on a deeper level, and you have no choice but to sink or swim. So it's either you're going to explore, you're going to prosper, you're going to find yourself, and you're going to surprise yourself, or you're just going to realize that that's not for you. And for some people, it's not for them to move away far to go to school, especially when you could save more money at home, realistically. But for me, Howard was my dream school. It had the program of my dreams, and honestly, it's, you know, my eyelash. Honestly, it's an HBCU that I love, so it was no other choice but to live here. Moving away again, in my other videos, I would always say, oh, I don't miss anybody, da da da, I'm so happy, blah 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 blah. That has definitely changed. I do miss my friends, I do miss my family, I do miss genuine connections, but I also feel like I'm growing and developing and meeting people here, which really has made me appreciate the people in my life even more. And even my long distance friendships and relationships, I'm being more intentional with them. So that's how, you know, being away at doctorate program has helped me. It has helped me grow tremendously. But again, there are weeks and days where I'm literally like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back home. But it's like, it's too late now. So you got to keep on pushing.
I mean, I really love what you said about just kind of like putting yourself out there, because it's literally you're testing yourself. Like, can I handle this? Like, there's an emotional roller coaster that comes with going through things on your own, and it kind of like affords you a sort of strength, which I hate and I love at the same time. But I feel like I'm so much better for it, so I have, you know, no choice but to love it at the end of it all. Like, I see the value when I look back. I just feel like I feel like I have a superpower, if that makes sense. Like, I can do things that I know people who did not go through this, they cannot do. And, yeah, I mean, we're really brave for doing all of that and making those decisions and, like, kind of putting our foot forward and saying, like, this is what I want to do for myself. This is what I need to do. Let me make sure I can have the life that I want at the end of this, instead of kind of just, like, letting my life happen.
I agree. Definitely. Do you have anything else to say towards this topic, moving away?
Make sure it's something you really want to do, because I don't ever think that, like, there's going to be a right time. You're never going to feel fully ready to make a decision like this. So even something like, I always say, like, God planted this dream in my heart for a reason. So if you ever move to do something, do it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it has to be in you, not on you. I say that all the time, but it has to be something that you genuinely want, like she said. For me, I'm very like religious, so for me, like I'm very led by like God, and I have to plan and stuff like that. But for others, again, if you're not that way, it's okay. Just like go within and listen to yourself and really meditate on the pros and cons. Because again, money is a big factor. For me, I wasn't gonna let that deter me, but like you have to be realistic. If you don't have a cushion, if you don't have support, or if you're literally just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, you need to make a plan. Like, hey, am I gonna get this much in debt and then da 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 da. But also, for example, if you're going for a specialized degree, if you're going to a school that specializes in what you're gonna do, and it's like some of the best schools, some of the best turnover rates, and you know that you're gonna be guaranteed to get an amazing job, you might have to, and you get accepted, you might have to push through a little bit. But again, like she said, it makes you weather the storm because you just have to do a lot of things alone, and it helps you develop that character. So I do recommend that you do move away. I feel like everybody should move away from their city at least once or twice or a couple of times. If you want to move back, move back. But as for me, it just made me realize that there's more to life. And again, when you move away, especially, you get the character of the city or the country, and you get to see that there are so many different people in the world, and culture is different, and you get to see like how you want to see your kids grow up, where you see yourself raising a family, what code of ethics is important to certain like groups of people. So it's just really something that I feel like everybody should do. All right, guys, so the next topic, like I said, we have a lot to talk about, is grad school while young. So again, Tam's gonna tell you, we're just gonna talk about it, give a little bit of advice. And should you do it while you're young? Should you do it while you're old? Those are the questions I usually get. Should I take a gap year? What to do during gap year? How is it being in grad school so young? And we got the answers for you.
I definitely feel like, anybody you talk to about grad school or their masters, they usually go in their 30s or after they have kids, or they put it off so long they never get back to doing it. And I just always hear people full of regret when they talk about not going to grad school straight after their undergraduate years. Mm-hmm. And I figured, like, why wait? This might not be the last degree that I want to get as well.
Oh wait, so, for me, I'm done, baby. But
I mean, honestly, after all of this, I might be done too. It's a lot. Okay. It's a lot. But, like, if I wanted to, like, at least I have the option, I have the time. I'm not going to be 40-something doing it and be like, all right, well, I have to stop myself. I feel like me doing it earlier on, I'm not limiting myself. I am separating myself from the pool because we're probably some of the youngest people in our cohorts. That's another thing. Like, we're a part of that really small, knit group. And, honestly, and like you said about specializing in a degree in the field, it's really all about setting yourself apart from the majority. So you're younger, you have that gumption, you have that kind of drive within you to even pursue something like this. That's pretty valuable to a business, especially when they realize you're really young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they can use you for a very long time.
Basically.
She feels the pain.
Yeah, I definitely do. Oh my god. Anyways, but no, I completely agree with you. Like, I mean, they look at you kind of like, they're gonna use you but they're gonna use you because you got what they want, essentially. That's a good thing when you're looking for a job. You want to be different. You want to be what they want. You want to be different. You want to be valuable, and it might help you better than it hurts you. I couldn't imagine not doing this at the time that I did. I could not imagine being older putting up with this either. Mm-hmm. Like, imagine being 35, living in a 4-bedroom apartment or something like that with like younger college students. I just feel like for me, or living by myself, I feel like too many other things would be in the way. We have less liability right now as well. We don't have kids. Mm-hmm, we don't have property. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I think about the best time in your life to make a decision like this, that is a huge risk, which I feel like we were trying to get across in the first place. It's just best to do it young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like grad school while young, I agree with everything what she's going to say. So I'm going to talk more about like other stuff. People ask me like about the gap year and stuff. I don't know anything about that because I didn't take a gap year, but I know some of my friends do, and it's great for their mental health and they go right back into it. I know people go into work and they go back into it. Again, you can do school at any age, but as for me, my age is 23. I started grad school at 22, and it was a lot. My cohort is actually really young. I talk about it in my other videos. Like, we have a really, really young cohort, which is rare, especially us coming straight from undergrad. So we have 2 23-year-olds, 1 22-year-old, a 25, a 27, and then we have an older, like 34 or whatever. But we're pretty young, and I'm echoing everything Tam said about just like wanting to do it now, wanting to get it over with, kind of just wanting to start in your life already and just doing it, because it's like, yeah, like, let's just do it. But another thing is that when you're doing grad school so young, I feel like sometimes you get imposter syndrome. That could be at any age, but especially when you're young and like people around you are so much older and you're getting presented these opportunities. Like for me and my doctoral program, like, you know, a lot of other students are older. So it's like I'm 22 and they're another age, or like my professors are older, and sometimes I'm like, damn, like, what am I even doing here? Like, how did I even get here? But then I'm like, actually, I'm supposed to be here, so it's not even that big of a deal. But it's just like, you know, being young and you're also still developing at different rates. So it's like, again, we don't have kids, we don't have all this stuff, but we're, you know, trying to find ourselves, we're trying to find out a lot of personal development things that go on around this time, and sometimes it can be harder, but at the end of the day, it's like, it's all worth it, because I feel like it makes you a more well-rounded individual. So then we can kind of go into like personal development, like friends, just like all the like personal things minus dating, and we can talk about, so making friends, balancing your social and all that stuff.
For me, I don't know if this is the same thing for you, but for me, the older that I get, the less I am looking for kind of like shallow connections with people. I feel like the older I get, the more that I want people in my life that I can depend on, that are going to be around for a long time. I feel like I'm getting really tired of the whole temporary wave, and like in this city in particular, in London, there's a huge, you know, shallow vibe that can kind of like be around. It's really hard to sift and find the right people. I feel like that's anywhere you go. Any major city, especially if you're in Miami, New York, or LA, like, you know, like, it's a lot of more fake people than there are people that like keep it real. But definitely over here, there are a lot of people that value, you know, material things. It's hard to find people that genuinely want to hang out with you for you. A lot of people are using you for image purposes.
I 100% agree with Tam. I think like in terms of like finding friends and stuff, especially, she talked about it, when you move to a major city. I mean, I think social climate is a thing everywhere, small cities, big cities, whatever, but it's something particular about like large cities, especially with like this social media, like people want to be the best and stuff like that. Luckily, I haven't dealt with that, so I'm gonna let her keep that topic. But for me, I meet a lot of people off of social media because it's 2021. That's what we do. We met off of social media. Hey, but you know, you have to realize that like just because you hang out with someone once doesn't mean that you're gonna hang out with them again. So again, like in terms of, you know, going to graduate school and trying to make friends, like just being honest and be like, hey, just moved to the city looking for somebody to hang out with, and if you guys click, that's perfect, but if you guys don't, keep it moving. And we also have to realize that we are older, even if we're young. So, you know, when you were in high school and college, like having a lot of friends was like, yeah, I'm popular, ooh, I'm a socialite, live that life. But now again, it's about quality over quantity. So for me, I've made like maybe like 5 friends out here for real that I really consider and I call a friend. And you know, that I feel like I've gotten advice from them, I've hung out with them, you know, with, like she said, with the Uber, with the food, it hasn't been a problem. So like people that I genuinely feel like I can call a friend, or, you know, growing into that way of a friend. And I feel like 5 friends doesn't sound like a lot, but again, quality over quantity always. In terms of like personal development, but in terms of personal development, just making sure that like you know, you have a routine and you really just explore hobbies outside of school, which is really, really important. So like really try to get into like learning about, you know, having meaningful conversations with people, like Tam said again, like that is just so therapeutic, to actually have therapy, like to actually have conversations with people who care. That's not about school. Your whole life isn't school. Your whole life isn't you in a doctor, like in a graduate program, in a doctoral program. So because we know that, like you just want to, you know, do things outside of that is interesting. So like going to happy hours, exploring, also doing things by yourself, creating a routine, you know, being healthy, eating healthy, just elevating your life at every step. And of course it's going to happen gradually, because it's what's best for you. Like if you don't want to eat kale, Caesar salads, all, you know, that's the healthy thing to do. You don't have to. But, you know, obviously you're alone, you're learning yourself more, and you want to ultimately be the best version of yourself, which is like what my channel is about. So being the best version of yourself for you and finding out what you like, and then aligning with people that have those same interests, whether it's one person or 3 people, or you know, doing things that make you happy. So I feel like you really have to find that balance between school and personal life, and just really realize that, as for me, what I say is that I'm not going to stress about school. Like when I'm a student and I'm in student mode. But when I'm Serena, the YouTuber, I'm doing YouTube things. When I'm Serena hanging out with my friends, I'm doing those types of things. So being present in your roles and really just like focusing on those things, because I feel like, you know, that is going to help you with balance. Like, you know, so take care of your body, eat good food, have fun, do your work, but just remember that it's all a process, and it doesn't happen overnight, and you don't have all these friends overnight, and you don't move overnight, and you don't, you know, be the best version of yourself overnight. It's a process. But I mean, what better time than now? We always talk about like how to stay organized, how to do this, how to do that, but it's like, what is your self-care? What is your personal development? And a big part of, you know, us going into these programs is personal development, and I feel like that's something that we don't talk about often. And you know, furthering our education, whatever program we're in, like we both talk about like how, like, because we're upgrading our life basically and upgrading our bank accounts, because that's what we're going to school for, is to make more money, duh. It's like some things we're not gonna take because we don't have to. And you know, being a student is also a job. So it's like some people are working other jobs. I didn't work a job like my first year, but now in my second year, I'm working as a second job. And it's like, so now I have 2 jobs. I don't have time to play with you. So it's like back. So yeah, you have to upgrade your life, but as much as you're developing academically or professionally, there's also a personal development. And you also realize what you like and what you don't like, your values, you know, and even in terms of like being in a cohort, you realize like, you realize a lot about yourself. I've realized so much about myself, which I'm going to talk about in like other videos, especially my 1 year being in the DMV. Like you just learn so much about yourself, and it's just crazy. Moving, being in these programs, being under so much stress, realizing like, dang, I didn't know I could write 30 pages in one night. Like I didn't realize that somebody could try me and I don't have to snap back, that I can just take a breath. I didn't realize that, you know, I didn't throw someone under the bus. Like it shows a lot about your character development, and again, that's the beautiful thing. It's just growth. But remember, you're a person, you're human, you make mistakes, and especially when you move away, especially if you're young. We're still young, we still live, laugh, love. Like I've done some things that I'm like, okay, that's not maybe in my best interest, let me not do that again. I have more to lose. And that's another thing, like when you're in grad school, you do have more to lose. You are now a professional. You might be doing internship, you might be doing externship, you might be on the like site. Like you're no longer a student, you have value. I mean, you always have value, but it's like now especially, like, so you really have to have that balance, and you really have to, you know, take care of you, but still take care of business. But then also realize that like sometimes the lines are gonna get blurred, but it's okay because it'll all work out in the end. Guys, so last but not least, what we're gonna talk about is dating. We're not gonna get too much into detail because Tam is gonna have a video about dating on her channel, and I really wish you guys go check that out. I'm gonna put her channel link here. But yeah, dating while we're in grad school. For me, I kind of talked about it before in a video, but obviously I'm gonna say it again. I wasn't dating for a very long time, but recently I just downloaded Hinge because why not, you know, live, laugh, love. Dating apps are very popular amongst grad students, so I don't think it's weird. They're popular amongst everyone now at this point, but dating, if it's gonna slow you up, don't do it. But if you can balance both, I think definitely you should date, but not to marry. Well, dating to marry is always the goal, but like you can't date to marry someone if you don't know what you. Also, you have to understand that just because somebody goes to, in my case, Georgetown is like a prestigious school. Just because someone goes to Georgetown doesn't mean that they're a good dating prospect. Like, men are still gonna be men, regardless of their title, regardless of what school they have. So like, let's just get that through our heads, because we like to convince ourselves like we're going to, like in my area, I go to Howard, he goes to Georgetown, it was a love story. No, it's not a love story, actually. They're trash. So yeah, so let's just get that. So just be realistic, and also remember that grad school is very expensive and dating is also very expensive. So what your ideals of what this love story that you're gonna have might not be realistic, because everybody's on a grind, financially, personally, spiritually, and yeah. So my preference, I don't have a preference. You know, I'll date anyone realistically, but yeah, my experience with dating has been that. And again, we're gonna talk more about dating on Tam's channel, but yeah. So again, this has been fun. Just kind of wanted to answer some, you know, grad school questions, but more on a personal level. So thank you, Tam, for joining.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
Yes. And again, I'm gonna put her channel here, simply put By Tam. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them down below. Tell me if you guys like these type of videos, and also follow my SP to PhD page, where I talk more about school stuff, my journey with my doctoral program in counseling psychology, and just, you know, more of the educational stuff that, you know, people love SP to PhD. So hey, if you love it, go subscribe and join the community. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Bye.